Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Charles Advanced, and welcome you guys to another episode of the DREAMERSPRO show. We cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, and we give you guys a fresh perspective on things and how we see them. And today we're going to be talking about Doc Rivers and them damn Bucks. But before we even get into it, please make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel. Also, if you want today's full show before it comes out on YouTube, it's streaming for free on the DREAMERSPRO podcast we have pinned below. This is the first time you've heard me refer to the Milwaukee Bucks as them damn Bucks. And that damn Doc Rivers. Why are we talking about the Bucks today? Well, as you guys know, the Bucks were a top 2 seed in the Eastern Conference 3 weeks ago. 3 weeks ago. This was one of the best teams in the NBA. But there were reports that were coming out that former rookie head coach Adrian Griffin was losing the locker room. Players were beginning to tune him out for whatever reason. Not even halfway through the season, the Milwaukee Bucks elect to fire head coach Adrian Griffin. Fantastic. The very next day after firing him, the Milwaukee Bucks players are seen celebrating on the basketball court, dancing around in a huddle. After they fire Adrian Griffin, who do they go after? Within less than 24 hours, we hear that the Bucks had decided to hire Doc Rivers. And when the name Doc Rivers came up, we all had the same reaction. LMAO. We were all laughing our asses off. Like, Doc Rivers? Number one, do you dudes not know who Doc Rivers is? That's number one. Number two, how the hell does Doc Rivers keep getting these jobs so fast? Nevertheless, they hired Doc Rivers to right the ship. Doc Rivers gets there, and there was a post that said, as it stands right now, Doc Rivers is going to be the head coach of the All-Star game. And everybody was laughing like, this is ridiculous, man. And I think I heard Charles Barkley on TNT say Doc Rivers needs to give that the bonus if they win. They need to give that money to Adrian Griffin. Fantastic. Then Doc Rivers ultimately elects to do that. So what happens? Yesterday, game right before All-Star weekend, the Milwaukee Bucks are playing against a shorthanded Memphis Grizzlies team. No John Moran, none of these guys. And most people thought, given the bumpy start they've had with Doc Rivers, I think they were, I think they had lost, 6 out of their last 9 games or something like that. And what happens? Instead of going out there and just trampling over that team, they end up losing to the Memphis Grizzlies by 3 points, which is a total embarrassment. And at the end of the game, you can hear Doc Rivers talk about some of these players didn't even know the play calls. Half of them, their minds were already in Cabo. So I was watching NBA on TNT to see what Charles Barkley and the crew had to say. And when it came time for them to talk about the Milwaukee Bucks, they absolutely went off. So for those of you who didn't hear that, we want to play for you now and then come back and continue on the show. Take a listen to that.
This game, Memphis missing basically everybody. And as you point out at halftime, a lot of guys on two-way contracts, like
10-day contract.
10-day contracts.
It got so bad for Milwaukee, they went to a zone.
Yeah, but I'll tell you one thing about when you watch Taylor Jenkins' teams play.
They play hard.
All the time.
Taylor Jenkins is a hell of a coach.
Yeah. They lost to a bunch of dudes on 10 days.
Yeah, yeah. Shaq, they went to a zone.
It would have been, and not only on 10 days, Shaq. A lot of those guys, like a one and dones or like a Gigi Jackson in those situations, they would have trouble. Who's the number 1 team in the country right now? UConn.
UConn, really good.
They'd have trouble with UConn. Like it'd be a good game if that game was going on now.
Why do you say we look at the highlights? Come on, we need to. No, I'm only 3 games left before the All-Star break. So let's just let's go through this.
The Milwaukee Bucks are in trouble in terms of intensity, in terms of leadership, in terms of know-how. Like this is I don't. Doc Rivers is a Hall of Fame coach. There's no reason to start off 3-7. You should be excited, and they should have an energy of excitement when he came in that, hey, we're trying to win it all, and this is what it's about. But it went backfire.
Milwaukee needs to understand, because of Giannis and Dame,
The opponents are going to be playing way above their heads. But forget all that. You're supposed to blow this team out by 30. The fact that you're 3-6, I know you say it's a throwaway game, but when you're not playing well, you want to end the All-Star break on a positive note. They were supposed to come out and smash this team, but Chuck said it. They had trouble with the defense, no timely stops, no effort. I believe you. And like I said earlier, it's a championship team on paper. That's nowhere near a championship.
Yeah,
the way they're playing right now, they're going to get swept in the first round.
You know, it's interesting, like, okay, let's be patient. And then I said, okay, they had the champs come to the house and they smacked them up. They beat Denver by 25. And I'm like, okay, they got the Heat. The Heat going to play. And I said, well, I said condolence to Jimmy Butler too, man. I just thinking about you and your family, brother. And then like, well, they playing the Miami Heat without Jimmy Butler. They're going to get a little momentum. They're going to beat them. Then they're going to beat Memphis.
Go into the break with a little 3-game winning streak,
yes.
4-game winning streak.
Now, the Memphis Grizzlies won 2 in a row, and these guys lose 2 in a row.
So you heard what the crew had to say about the Bucks. I want to continue on to just explain to you just how bad the situation is with the Milwaukee Bucks. Are you guys aware that the Milwaukee Bucks fired a rookie head coach to go get a coach in Doc Rivers who's doing a worse job than the rookie head coach? Do you know since Doc Rivers has taken over the Milwaukee Bucks, they've lost 70% of their games? 70%. They're 7-3 under stewardship of Doc Rivers. To add insult to injury, are you guys also aware of the fact that as we sit here and speak, the Milwaukee Bucks are actually paying 3 coaches? They're paying Mike Budenholzer because they fired him. They're paying Adrian Griffin. They fired him. And now they're paying Doc Rivers. That's the Milwaukee Bucks. I remember this summer, a lot of people had a lot of high expectations for this Bucks team. Why? Because over the offseason, they acquired Damian Lillard, Dame time. Now, here's the wrinkle. When that trade went down, not everybody was excited about it. Or that acquisition went down, not everybody was excited about it. Do you know why? Because some people out there in the media and some fans were saying, yeah, we got Dame. He's an offensive powerhouse. But we just lost arguably our best defender in Drew Holiday at the point of attack at the point guard spot. People like Skip Bayless and others were like, the Bucks are going to feel it. And what's been happening? Their defense has actually gotten worse. Damian Lillard is not providing the premium on offense to cover for his defensive deficiencies, which brings me over to Giannis Antetokounmpo. Listen, we got to point fingers at Giannis too. The reason we got to point fingers at Giannis is because if this were any other superstar in his position, they would be getting criticized. If it was Kevin Durant, he'll be getting criticized. If it was LeBron James, he'll be getting criticized. If it was Kawhi Leonard, he'll be getting criticized. So now it's Giannis Antetokounmpo's turn to be criticized. Giannis has been there in the midst of all of this. I agree with getting rid of Mike Budenholzer. I agree with that. He was one of the most dogmatic coaches in the entire NBA. Could not make an adjustment to save his life. So I understood that. But in the case of Adrian Griffin, now Giannis may say, I didn't get the coach fired. I'm sure he didn't, but you better believe he was aware and was abreast of what was going on. You better believe that. And if you're aware of that, you must have had an inclination of who they were going after. And now you got Doc Rivers. So now we find ourselves in a situation which is, you got to make it work. There are no two ways about it. You have to make it work. And if it doesn't work, the people that need to be blamed are the following: Bucks management, the people that have been making all of these decisions behind the scenes. That's number one. Number two, Doc Rivers. And number three, Giannis Antetokounmpo is the best player in the league on that team. Those are the 3 culprits that we need to look at. Those are the 3 people we need to be pointing fingers at. Because if we're not going to point fingers in their direction, then who are we going to hold accountable? Someone needs to answer for this. And the Bucks need to right this ship. The current rate Doc Rivers is going at, he's not going to get another coaching job. And I don't see how he could. But then again, he has an amazing agent and he may pull another rabbit out of the hat. So what I want to know from you guys, what do you think about the current state of affairs with the Milwaukee Bucks? And who do you think is most to blame? And what do you think is a solution for the situation moving forward. Whatever you guys think, please leave your thoughts in the comments, and we catch you on the next show. Peace.